I know. Take your victory lap, Brandon. You did it. They didn't even have to trade. They just stood there like you wanted. They drafted Bo Nix. And I mean, there's only one question to ask now. What if Bo Nix... We here.
I have protected Sir Bo Nix from your bullshit, from your cursed BS. He has been put in a protective shield, and you have no effect on him. And we steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is GPS. And what if Bo Nix kind of sucks? I had to get it out.
Right.
I had to get it out. I mean, we talked on the phone yesterday, and it was perfect.
We did not.
Yes, we did.
I have no recollection of anything happening on
I saw you sipping
service.
on those whiskeys during the video, so maybe, kind of just messing with the old noggin a little bit.
That was not my first whiskey either.
Congratulate. So I have to, just cut right to it. There has to be some excitement there because, you talked about Bo Nix before. You did a whole video on him. You did a video on just about every single one of the QBs that you could have gotten. And you didn't have to move. Yeah. Similar to like the Vikings, they only traded up one spot, right? And then they were still able to trade up again. So you have to be happy just from a standpoint of they didn't give up the farm. They got a guy that you could hopefully, build around or at least give you some hope.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I think people are confusing me and Broncos fans being excited about Bo Nix with, we think he's slam dunk going to be great. Because you don't know. But you're right. All of those things are true. And it got a little interesting when nobody traded up for JJ McCarthy like we thought, right? And then Penix goes and you're like, whoa, what the heck's going on?
We'll talk.
So I was like, okay, so the Broncos are either going to try and jump Minnesota if they like JJ McCarthy. Sure. Turns out they were not as high on JJ as they were Bo Nix. And that's totally fair because you've got a lot more to evaluate with Bo Nix. So just sitting there, letting him come to him, getting the guy they want. And the thing that's so funny, it's like when people are criticizing Bo Nix, they're like, he went to Oregon. It was a system there that he thrived in. Like, it was just a good system. And I get it. A lot of short passes for Bo, okay? So why would he not translate to the right system in Sean Payton and the way he runs it, right? Sure, anything can happen to fuck up a quarterback. We know that. But it's like you give credit to the guy for running the system in college, and the one that makes the most sense for him, the one that everybody's like, this is a good fit, we get it. And you're like, oh, idiots. Look at those idiots. That's about half of it. A lot of people are excited. We should be excited about Bo Nix. He wants to be a Bronco. And I don't know if it'll work out, but I feel a lot better today with Bo Nix as my quarterback than I did with Stidham and Zach Wilson.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, even for there just to be a lifeline of I don't have to watch a training camp with Stidham versus Zach Wilson. I get it. And like, again, if this doesn't work out, it's not great. But then if they're bad, they'll go get a quarterback next year.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? I think it's just the rest of the draft is going to turn out to be a little bit more important in terms of just like, okay, I know don't have a second round pick unless you trade back up. But like, what are you going to do to like build around in case Bo Nix doesn't work out? So then whoever you put in there next, they have some support.
Yeah. The Broncos have holes, and they've got to build and draft well in the later rounds for sure. There's no getting around that.
No.
Next free agency period, they're going to spend money because I'll have it again. The one thing Bo Nix will have is a solid offensive line. We still have Courtland Sutton, so we got one proven receiver for him. Who knows about the run game? But yeah, The rest of the draft is significant, and I don't know if they're going to nail it. Last year's draft, it's like, okay, I think Marvin Mims can take a leap as another receiver, but I don't even know if they're going to trade up in the second, if they're just going to stay put in the third. We're still paying the piper for the Sean Payton trade. That's why they don't have a second, and that's why it made sense to take Bo Nix at 12. If they had a second and they could have possibly moved up to get him, sure. But when 5 quarterbacks were gone already, I think it made the Bo Nix pick a lot.
It makes sense.
More palatable for the Broncos. Like, well, shit, 5 guys are already gone. Just take your dude.
But it's also, okay, let's get into this because, like, this is, of course, the story of the night. It is by far, because I would argue for the most part, the first 6, 7 picks, there wasn't anything that was shocking, right? It kind of 1, 2, 3 went as ordered, 4 even, Martin Harrison Jr., right? Chargers got Joe Alt. They didn't go after a wide receiver. And Giants, they'll go get Neighbors, etc. Titans, they needed offensive line badly. They addressed that. And then you have the Falcons, who everybody, or I would say the assumption is, oh, they're going to go get like a Dallas Turner. Maybe they go get they build up that defense a little bit more. Maybe they go get a crazy weapon. Maybe they do that. And they draft Michael Penix Jr. And I want to be very clear. This isn't a knock on Michael Penix.
We have to keep saying that to Penix.
It's not you. It's a combination of what the actual hell from the Falcons. And I think the Falcons even had a hard time justifying it at times. They're like, oh, well, the Packers did it, so maybe it works out. And I get it from that perspective, but there is so much additional context in here. You talk about Kirk Cousins, the money that he got, and even if it's like a 2-year deal, and then you're going to start Penix. Penix is not the youngest guy in the NFL draft, right? But if he turns out to be a franchise quarterback, then I guess it works out. But it's like, the assumption is the Falcons were kind of in a win now mode, right? Because that's why they went and got Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, 100%.
Makes sense. So why wouldn't you want to put more pieces around him? Now, again, as a Packers fan who has been there a few times now when they've drafted a quarterback when they haven't needed one, in a few years, if Michael Penix winds up working out and the Falcons still win the division this year or something like that, no one's really going to be talking about this.
Sure.
But I think it's a combination of Kirk Cousins, the contract, all the context around it, where he was drafted. There was talks about him not going until day 2. And even if the Falcons missed out on Penix, it seemed like that would have been okay.
Yeah. You have Kirk Cousins. This is completely irrelevant. It's a fucking dumb pick for the Falcons for the next 2 years. You're trying to you're picking at 8. That's the difference between Jordan Love, where he went.
Yeah, in the 20s.
In the 20s. Penix, Bo Nix, they're both these quarterbacks who are kind of like these fringe first round guys.
Yeah.
Their value probably inflated by the QB needy draft that we just witnessed. And right here too, like Matt Miller's pro comp, Tua. I was reading last night, Bo Nix's pro comp, Tua. So I think a Tua comp basically means like, we think there's something there, but we're not going to say he's great. He might be able to get the job done. I will say, the Falcons taking a left-handed QB named Michael, that fit works really well. But like, it's
true.
If they got Kirk Cousins on like a really cheap deal, this would also be more acceptable. But they paid a lot of money to go get Kirk Cousins. To me, this is a move where you take Spencer Rattler in the 2nd or 3rd round if you're really trying to, have maybe a little bit of security there, or you wait until next season. And you're not doing it for a guy in Penix who, in my opinion, is somebody you need to be starting like day 1 because of his age and experience in college. So it's wild.
Think there's additional context here of like, okay, so it even says it right there. Is there concern about Kirk Cousins' recovery when it comes to...
we got to that point. Like maybe there's like, okay, his injury is a big one, but if you're scared he's going to get hurt again, why the fuck did you pay him?
Money?
Why did you give him that
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm
Man,
saying.
it's a terrible look for the new regime. And I
It's
saw
not a
people
good look.
before the draft like saying, "Thank God we don't have Arthur Smith in this draft." I was like, "Well, their drafts they've gotten pretty good players." Arthur Smith wouldn't have done this.
Terry, where the hundo? Boop
Mm.
boop. Yo, shout out to Detroit. They packed that place out.
Yeah.
They weren't allowing people in. Like they were in the main concourse. 275K. Yeah, gotta wear a diaper. Gotta wear a diaper. Yeah, the Lions also, of course, trading up right in front of the Packers because, dude, if they took Cooper DeJean, I mean, they took Arnold, who was really, really good. And what I tell you, if the effing Eagles, if they allowed Mitchell to fall right to him and they get Mitchell, like Mitchell's gonna be so good for them. That's one of my favorite picks of the night, like just of a team.
Yeah, that was when no defensive players were getting drafted. Somebody asked, like, what should the Eagles do? And I was like, take one of the two really good corners that might be there. It's a rare time I was correct about something because Mitchell was a guy like mocked to the Broncos quite a bit where, they could take a really good corner there. So the Eagles to get him where they did, that was nice. Another perplexing thing besides the Falcons, and we can talk about that more too, it's why did the Bills trade with the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Why Buffalo?
I mean, first
you can trade with anybody in the draft you want, not those Satan-loving bastards. No, Buffalo.
The Vikings. Listen, it's because you support them, Brandon.
And then the Chiefs made the most predictable draft pick ever. Taking the fastest guy on earth.
Like, he's really fast. Why did you draft him? Fast.
Johnny John John!
So
faster than that.
I don't want to root against Xavier Worthy, but the Chiefs have tried to bring in that speed guy a couple times. McColl to replace Tyreek Hill, Sky Moore to replace Tyreek Hill. Now it's Xavier Worthy. If he works, it's going to be tough for the Bills to swallow that pill. But if he doesn't, fair enough.
If he doesn't, they'll still be there in January. So,
it's just like, why would they trade? Like, I don't know, man. That seems stupid too.
So here's the argument, right? Because every single team has a different draft board, right? Of like guys that have a first round grade. And the thought is, like with the Bills, there wasn't a guy on the board that had either a first round draft grade for them, or the value that they were getting, they thought it was higher than whatever player was available, because the Bills need a wide receiver pretty badly. So their guy could have gotten taken. They're like, all right, maybe we need this, but then they wind up trading with the Chiefs. And it looks bad, the team that wound up drafting a wide receiver. And if it does work out, it's going to be a little painful.
Yeah, I think I have no problem with the Bills trading back. That part of it makes sense.
Sure.
Just in no world should you trade with the team that keeps bouncing you from the postseason. Like, just don't do that. They're your biggest competition in the AFC, and you just gave them somebody they really liked. And if you've followed the Chiefs recently, they've had some pretty solid drafts. So I would not trust giving them their guy. I would have called the Broncos or the Raiders or the Chargers and said, look, the Chiefs are trying to get here. We will give you a steal to just go to this pick and take whoever they want. Idiots.
I think that's how that works out.
That's exactly how I do it.
Justin, great point. The NFC North, they had a big night. Talking about the freaking Chicago Bears. Dude, obviously they go get Caleb Williams, but the one thing I didn't want Rome to fall to them at 9, and Rome fell to them at 9. And now you have Keenan Allen on a 1-year rental, but a lot of wide receivers can learn from DJ Moore and Rome. Bro, like that is a great position that Caleb Williams is walking into.
The Chicago Bears. Rome was built in a no-doomsday. You don't like it? Will doesn't like it? Guess what? I'm going to say it every time.
We got the Rome was built in a day, but now that's just...
Rome was built in a no-doomsday.
Are you saving that for a video?
No, I'm just going to say it every chance I get.
That's fair. That's fair.
Caleb Williams already sold more jerseys than anybody ever. So
he literally
Marvin Harrison has sold 0 jerseys because he hasn't signed his licensing agreement, so they can't sell Harrison jerseys.
Don't blink. If you're a blinker, cut your eyelids off.
Cut them off.
Although I don't know how many 80-year-olds are running to buy jerseys in Arizona, so I don't think it's different. Yeah, Bears. I feel like it went exactly the way they wanted it to.
Yeah.
They had like their
Pearsall
dream
draft, yeah.
scenario, and it just happened. And that rarely happens in the draft.
I imagine it might be Mitchell. It might be Mitchell going to the Bills. I would imagine. Yeah, the Lions, of course, trading up right in front of the Packers and snatching a corner. Right, they go again.
Another good
Arnold.
pick.
I think that's a very good pick.
I think the Lions did it, and I think the Bills, as soon as the Jaguars came in and took Brian Thomas, they're like, we can move back. They can still grab a receiver they like there, or they have pick 33. So there's talk that they might trade pick 33 now too, because teams like to get the first pick on day 2. So we'll see. And that takes us to Jordan Morgan. How do you feel about this pick?
Got the Vikings. Vikings, JJ McCarthy, right?
Oh,
then, yeah. Vikings, they go get JJ McCarthy. They only have to move up one, and they basically gave up nothing. So that was easy. And then they traded back up, and they go get a top defensive prospect. So this, I think, also worked out for the Vikings. You know, if JJ works out, of course, Michigan fans are not going to be very happy that he went there. But
yeah,
I think that this was pretty solid. Getting Dallas Turner, too, who I know was mocked higher. Like, he was mocked to potentially go to the Falcons at 8.
Yeah, that would have been smart. Atlanta?
That was good.
Nah, we don't need to get after the quarterback on defense. We don't need to improve our defense. Stupid. Yeah, Vikings knocked it out of the park, possibly.
Pretty good spam.
I don't see. I think Bo Nix will start day 1. I don't know if JJ McCarthy will. And Vikings have a little bit of a buffer with Sam Darnold. The Broncos have Stidham, but I think Nick's going to be ready to go week 1.
We'll see.
Byron Murphy to Seattle. That makes sense. That feels nice.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about the Packers. So here's the thing. Graham Barton, I definitely wanted, went right after. Right after.
Oh, who did you want? Oh,
I wanted Graham Barton, who went right after him. Terry Arnold would have been nice. Of course, Cooper DeJean, who's still on the board. DeJean's still on the board. This is a very prototypical Packers pick. And because I looked at him a bit before, but I was like, oh, okay, like he might be the day 2 guy. I didn't think he was going to be the day 1 guy. And played left tackle, came back from a major injury as well, still played last season. Had a couple injuries. He also played through a high ankle sprain in 21, I think it was. But this is a guy who's played the blind side, is likely going to be moved inside. And I'm at the point where, is it the guy I wanted? No. But if there is any position group that Goody has proven that he knows what the hell he's doing, it's offensive line. Like, almost every offensive lineman he's drafted has been pretty damn good. So I'm going to kind of just legit throw my hands up and trust the process. I think that Morgan, going left tackle, could potentially play tackle, which is nice. You have that versatility there, so that will make sense for the Packers. But, yeah, I mean, they made it a priority to protect Jordan Love, and they went and got their guy. It wasn't my guy, but that's okay. Yeah. That's all right.
It'll be tough if Barton is really, really good.
He felt like he fit the Packers so well.
Yeah. He is, they call him a mauler. Is he a mauler? Is Barton a mauler? But
appreciate you calling.
This is like second half or the back end of the first round.
Yeah.
Personally, that's when I feel like, as a fan, you can be a little bit excited about an offensive lineman. Whereas, like, obviously you get really good offensive linemen up top.
You would think.
Joe Alt or whatever.
Sure.
But, God, it's so boring. Like, if you're the Chargers and you need a receiver and Malik Neighbors is right there, Rome Odunze is right there, and you go tackle, even if it's the right move, even if it ultimately is the best thing for your team, it just sucks the life out of the fun of the draft. tackle lineman, boring. Where do you guys hook him? You're like, yeah, okay, all
That's
right,
fine.
you know, all right.
So that's another thing that I think Brett Coleman mentioned that on his stream yesterday, talking about maybe the tampering like punishment is going to be significant. I don't know if they're going to lose next year's first.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. But
like, still, why would you care about losing your pick next year? Why would that affect your decision to take a quarterback?
if they're like, if they're really concerned about Cousins, which again, then why are you paying him? If they're really concerned, they're just like, hey, we might need a quarterback next year, which then that's even worse. So it doesn't make sense. I do not understand it.
There's no good way to justify it.
Todd Davis at Breckenridge.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
He let me wear his super. Ooh, very cool. Yeah, Todd Davis. Very nice. Very cool.
Sorry, up again.
Shout out Vanessa. She hooked us up.
Yeah.
What was that? What are we talking about?
Talking about the Falcons.
Oh, how dumb the Falcons are. Yeah. Idiots. Hey, Atlanta, shut up. Shut up. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. Let's look at the guys that went after. Even, I don't think they need to add a receiver, but you give Kirk Cousins Rome. That seems smart. You could take a nice defensive edge rusher. Latu was available. Jared Verse was available. Dallas Turner. I mean, they could have traded back and still got one of these guys. Like, they could have added that extra draft capital and worried less about, getting docked later. Just seems like it seems like there was a lot of optimism for Atlanta, and then this move just took it away. Now, they could get a lot of guys later in this draft or whatever, but
yeah.
And I hope we see Michael Penix excel and thrive with the Falcons, because between Bo Nix and Michael Penix, if the Broncos had drafted Michael Penix, I would have been maybe a little bit more excited.
Sure.
Maybe that's just his style of play a little bit. He slings it deep a lot, but it's, poor Penix.
Sean, so he was really good last season. He had I think it was over 1,200 yards. I think it was 7 TDs. But I think he's also going to be really, because he was also a special teamer. Like, he's a returner. So I think that's going to help. I think it's going to help. But yeah, the Panthers, look at them.
Did they trade with the Bills? Is that what happened?
Yeah, they traded with the Bills. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was once the Broncos got Bo Nix, the rest of the draft didn't mean
I don't care.
Shit to me.
I do not care. Listen. Oh, yeah. Also, Ricky. So did you see that? Because CJ Stroud was live last night too. So when the 49ers got Ricky, he was pissed. He was just like, damn. So my question is, all these trade rumors about Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, now the 49ers go out and get a wide receiver. Are we going to see him move to, are we see one of those guys move today?
Yeah, maybe it makes it more likely. But even if it also just means they'll rock with Ayuk for this season, and then they've got their insurance plan to replace, right? So I don't know if it indicates that they will trade. It's more they could. They have a little bit of that luxury, but I think you add that third weapon and you play through this season, and then you make a decision on Ayuk after that, after you kind of see what Ricky brings to your offense. So
yeah, dude, that one-handed grab was insane. And it turned out to be Perna's vid. Phenomenal.
My boss just sent me a vid on. Hell yeah!
That's when it crossed over. You're like, don't worry, I've already seen it.
That's when you know a video's doing well, is when it reaches random people, and then they share it with somebody who's subscribed to your channel.
Scripted will be for the entire draft. Every NFL fan's reaction to round 1 is going to come out today. That one's going to come out today. Yeah, Mitchell, I absolutely love for the Eagles. That was legit, arguably the best corner in the draft. And he
basically everybody from pick 13 down, everybody got really good value, right?
Because all those. So that's why I think the board was falling really nicely for the Packers, and especially if you're in the teens, because 6 quarterbacks went.
Yeah.
So
6 QBs, most ever in the top 12. Ties the 83 record for most quarterbacks taken in a single draft. And as Will and I pointed out, the 6th quarterback taken in 1983 was Dan Marino.
Oh boy,
Bo Nix, you are the next Dan Marino.
So you won't win a Super Bowl?
Nope, but with Super Bowl wins.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah.
If I get to live through one of the greatest passers in NFL history, but we don't win the big game, but our seasons are fun, I'll take it.
I just want to have a good time.
I just want to enjoy some football, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I posted this question on Twitter, Tom. I was like, tell me why I shouldn't be excited about Bo Nix.
I saw that.
There were two answers, or one answer I accepted. And it's that we enjoyed watching you be miserable.
That's fair.
Fair. That means it has nothing to do with what you think of my quarterback. I'll take that. Mm-hmm. And there's still a chance I'll be miserable with Bo Nix. I'm not denying that. I am not denying it. But I'll take it. He was really good. I like the fit. Sue me.
Also, Nate Wiggins to the Ravens. Interesting pick. I don't hate it. I'm curious how that's going to trade. Because again, like he could be a really, really good lockdown corner. So
I saw. Well, only thing I saw about this was that Dabo was texting the Ravens, telling them to take him.
There you go.
Was he projected to be like taken later in the draft?
He was floating around, like right around 20, I would say. Okay. So like 20 and on in some mocks. But
nice. Yeah,
Robinson to the Cardinals. I like that too. Yeah, Cardinals should be thrilled. Cardinals didn't do anything crazy or anything fancy. There's like, nope, Marvin Harrison Jr. is right there. Let's go get him. Have a nice day. They go get Darius Robinson. I like that pick too. Build up on the defensive line. But that was the right move. Like Kyler Murray, I'm excited to see with like a legit super duper weapon how that's going to look.
Raphael.
Maybe.
The Broncos beat the Chiefs with Russell Wilson. So
here we go.
Suck it.
If you are the Giants, right? Malik Neighbors. Definitely excitement there. Probably a little less excitement because Daniel Jones will be throwing on the ball. But, I mean, the Giants, I think you talked about how the Chargers need a wide receiver and all that stuff, and they go offensive lineman. I mean, the Giants were in the same exact boat, except they need an offense.
Yeah.
So I think, like, this is the excitement pick. And it's like, okay, well, now we have Daniel Jones, a legit weapon, because who the hell was he throwing to last year?
Yeah. This is like the Chargers and Giants right here, 5 and 6. This is like a fun thing to watch over time. We won't remember, but like Chargers do the thing, the smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
Giants do the sexy thing.
Mm-hmm. They did sexy.
Bolster the line. Now if the Giants had taken Michael Penix, that would have made a lot more sense too.
Yes.
But I do like the Giants giving Dan Jones a guy to help them better evaluate where Daniel Jones really is.
True.
And the Giants still could take a quarterback. They could go Rattler. They could go Pratt. A guy it's not a ton of pressure on Daniel Jones, but you've got a little bit of an insurance plan there. So if you're New York, you should be excited. And I think the Jets did a smart thing too. They bolster their line.
Everyone thought Brock Bowers was going to the Jets, but they needed O-line too. It was between like O-line, wide receiver, and Brock Bowers, and they're smart. They were smart.
As soon as they drafted the tackle or the tackle, I was like, oh yeah, duh. That makes way more sense than Brock Bowers because their line was. That's where they need the most help, and they got a really good player there. So.
What I saw was Cousins was caught off guard. They were on the phone with him.
Yeah,
that's what I saw. They were on the phone.
If I was Cousins, I'd be like, "What?"
I mean, he got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and he's never been as good as Rodgers.
Guess what? Darkness retreat. It's coming.
Yeah, and I don't think Kirk Cousins is motivated by spite like Rodgers is.
Just Cole's cash.
Yeah,
That's it. Exactly. It's not sexy for the Steelers, but it definitely needed. Definitely needed. Perna, so what, like, if you had to go with a team or like 3 teams that you're looking at from last night that you're, of course, nobody knows, right? We're also gauging this off of like, oh, we think that these players are going to be good. They're going to be good fits, what have you, but nobody has any freaking fracking clue. What teams are you looking at and be like, yeah, I really like what they did?
Bears.
I agree.
I think they
Falcons
won the
messed it up
draft. Chicago.
I like what the Vikings did.
I like what the Vikings did, and you have the same questions and concerns about JJ as you would Bo Nix or Penix, right? In terms of a prospect, but it seems like the Vikings knew what they were doing.
Ruined January.
The Rams were apparently, who are they really high on? Brock Bowers. So they like Brock Bowers and Jared Verse. Brock Bowers goes off the board. I think they smartly add to where they're gonna have a need on their defensive line edge there. You know what? And it's tough because those are the 2 big ones. Those are the easy ones, right? The Bears and the Vikings.
I told you.
The last couple years, last year we were really hyped up on what the Eagles did in the draft, and it was fine. It was okay. The Detroit Lions were like, ooh, they kind of reached. They're kind of taking like positions out of, running back, linebacker.
Sure.
I'm gonna say the Lions. I like what the Lions did. I think they get a really good corner they got one of the best corners in this draft to aid one of their biggest positions in need. And whenever you're able to do that, and I think the Lions have proven over the last couple of years they're very good at drafting. So I'll say Lions, my 3rd team there. And you know what, Tom? The Packers. I think the Packers can do no wrong. I am so pumped and excited about the Packers' future. Mm-hmm. Their long-term success rate seems higher than ever.
Are you trying to curse them?
No,
I can't tell at this point.
I'm just telling you exactly how I actually feel about a team that I think is a little twinkle of the Super Bowl in their eye. Green Bay Packers, really good football team. I just see no mistakes for Green Bay. So healthy, so happy, so horny. The Packers. Triple H.
I was about to say.
Boom, just a wrestling reference for them too. Dang.
I was about to say Triple H, but you know what? It's working. It is working. Listen, it did. Yeah, I think the Bears, absolutely. And now, like, going into round 2, plenty of great talent on the board. Pretty great defensive talent still on the board as well. I think you might see some more trades, like, in the top 10 tonight than we obviously saw yesterday.
I was talking about this with Will. Like, do they just do this to us every year, Tom? Where they say, like, there's going to be a lot of trades in the first round of this draft. Mm-hmm. And then there's just not.
Yeah, I think it's the way the board fell, right? It's just kind of everyone kind of stayed in their lane and was like, okay. And then when Michael Penix got drafted, the Vikings were like, well, just in case, because they knew Chicago, they're probably not either giving up the pick or they're going to go get Rome. And they're like, just in case someone tries to trade with the Jets, we'll throw them some stuff. We'll make sure we're good. And so they didn't need to. There wasn't a huge need. And it happened more in like the teens and the back end of the draft rather than the top 10.
Because it was the Patriots might have traded, the Cardinals, all the stupid ass, look at Monty on the phone. This guy loves to wheel and deal. Was that the report? You just watch the video of him on the phone, and you're like, that's a team that's gonna trade.
Move. Because we talked about it we talked about it on Wednesday that the Cardinals aren't doing diddly squat until they're on the phone. Like they're on the clock and just be like, yeah, this is where we are. If there's a team that wants to be like super desperate, but there wasn't.
No. If Marvin Harrison was like the clear-cut number 1 guy and there weren't 2 other really highly God. 2 other receivers who people think are going to be really good.
You're talking about this draft?
Yeah. So like
Neighbors and Rome?
I think that like any team who might have been aggressive to try and get to 4, if it wasn't quarterback, it would have to be receiver, right? But there's 2 other really good receivers, I think, that are very close to Marvin Harrison. I'm not sure he's like leaps and bounds ahead of neighbors in Rome.
Sure.
So a team's got to want Harrison or they got to really want a quarterback. Neither of those things were true. The Giants weren't trying to get up. The Chargers weren't trying to trade back. So we were sold false goods.
Yeah, the Dolphins went with Chop. So yeah, they could have addressed O-line. They could have addressed a few things, but
no, but
I like
Bradley Chubb's coming back from ACL. They lose Van Ginkel. Like I think that was a huge need for him.
Yeah, I agree. They got to build up that D line again. No Wilkins too. Like they got to build up that D line.
They've got two. They've got to build both sides.
They were smart. Yes, man. What a pity.
Yeah.
Ooh, for the kitty.
Bo jobs for everybody in Denver, baby. And Bo's giving them all.
What? Yeah,
Bo
Raiders. Brock Bowers. Interesting.
Bust. What a stupid pick.
You can't just say bust.
Most overhyped tight end in NFL history. No, it's a solid pick for the Raiders. But like they drafted Michael Mayer last year, right?
They did, yeah. So
I think what it means is they're going to play Brock Bowers more as a receiver. They'll just line him up as a straight receiver a lot, and they have the luxury to do that. So,
but they made a decision not to go get a quarterback.
Yeah,
right? They're one of the teams. I don't think it's necessary. We talked about this on GPS. Like teams that just go, all right, whatever we have, we have. I would feel more confident in an AOC Gardner Minshew QB room than Zach Wilson and Stidham, right? So I feel like by a significant amount. So the Raiders can sit there and go, all right, like maybe they go after a Spencer Rattler if they were really high on him or something like that, but they didn't have to do it. And instead they're like, let's go get a weapon for whoever is going to be our quarterback and we can rock and roll. And it's likely going to be Minshew.
Like we know who Gardner Minshew is. He can be a very efficient quarterback who, gets the job done, right? Like he did that with the Colts last year. And like you're fine with that. And you gave him another weapon. He's got Devontae Adams. It's like I'm hoping Bo Nix is like a Gardner Minshew on steroids, right? Bo Nix has more arm talent than Minshew. He's more athletic, but you're banking on a guy running the offense you want, doing the things you want. So it was interesting though that the Raiders, maybe they would have taken Penix, but they're like, oh shit, Atlanta took him. What are we going to do now?
Right.
We'll just get the tight end we love. So
exactly.
Hey.
Hey, appreciate you, yes, man. Appreciate you. Also, Perna made a little announcement last night.
Oh yeah, your world tour.
Yep, going to pretty much every international stadium that the NFL has played. So
I know.
It's gonna get
that's awesome.
Pretty nuts, dude. 10 days, gonna get a little crazy.
So you're going to Europe and Mexico in this thing?
And Brazil. So yeah, I'm going to the UK.
Okay.
So because there's 2 stadiums there. Going to Germany, 2 stadiums there. Then going to Spain because they're playing there in 2025. We're already over there. Might as well, right? And then flying over to Mexico for Mexico City, and then going to Brazil.
Wow. That is a lot of airtime.
Those 2 back-end flights are going to be rough. It's about, from Spain to Mexico City, it's about 12 hours. And then going down to Mexico City to Brazil, I think is around 10. So it's, there's going to be some long flights, but be the back end of the trip. I'm so excited though, dude.
I'm assuming you're giving yourself ample time to enjoy each city.
Absolutely not. No. I'm going to be there. I'm giving 2 days for each place, and a chunk of time is obviously going to be travel time. So, yeah.
Dude, if a flight is missed in this situation, it is...
Oh, we effed.
It is so much worse than your 30 and 30.
I will just get on a flight. I don't care.
You got to get on a boat.
I want
you and Barks stuck on a boat crossing the Atlantic.
We could just sail.
Yeah.
Rome learning from Keaton. They'll be good. Yeah, you have them for a 1-year rental. It makes sense. Sense.
Bears they're in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb, Rome. Dude, Caleb's got weapons, man. And you know what? It kind of gets lost is Cole Kmet is a really, really good tight end in Chicago. So they have that piece as well.
you want more from him though. You do.
From who?
So Cole Kmet. I think you're gonna get like for this season. Now that you have all these other weapons, you're gonna hope that he is like a monster of a tight end.
Yeah, sure.
Because why not? Why not?
Yeah, he's really good. So two vet receivers, hot rookie, good tight end. See what the Bears do. Do they need O-line help still? Is that where they're going to go next? What's the Bears next?
Yeah, they probably could address O-line. Yeah. Wouldn't hate that.
How many picks do the Bears?
Also, I'm sorry. Sneaky, really good pick too. The Seahawks getting Byron Murphy.
Yeah.
That's like a perfect Seahawks pick of like just go get an absolute stud on the defensive line.
It's best player available meeting their biggest need, right? Boop.
It's that new defensive minded coach. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So, CFL, the CFL. Bernie, you're not streaming tonight, but what do you got coming out today, my friend?
We'll be doing winners and losers of the NFL draft.
Round 1 coming out today.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell.
Got Bo Nix up last night. Let's say Bo Nix got me up last night. Know what I'm saying? So, boner is what I'm saying, Tom.
Well, there's a lot of talk about Debo and Ayuk getting moved, or one of them getting moved. So,
you know what? Let's give Bo Nix Debo Samuel. He's the perfect guy. Debo, 6 yards, boom, touchdown. Bring Debo to Denver. Bring Debo to Denver. I'm excited to watch Marvin Mims with Bo Nix. Are we talking about Bo Nix again? Is this where we're at? Guys, let me tell you something. First off, shout out Kay Adams for just saying
it was gonna happen.
She wants to see Bo Nix with Sean Payton. Got to credit her for willing it into existence. Oh, look at this. The pro comp here is Dak Prescott. I will be happy to lose in the playoffs with Bo Nix year after year, especially if it's division round, Second, we win a game and then we lose. Oh, my God. That is such an upgrade from where we have been. 77% of his passes. That's Drew Brees.
I think he goes in the second round.
Tom, he had 5 turnover-worthy throws last year. 5. And he threw it 470 some times.
But again, what do you mean get stuck with Kirk? You're stuck with Kirk for 2 years at least because you paid him a lot of money. Like
everybody's stuck with Kirk because he won't play for a friendly deal.
Like it doesn't make sense to the Falcons. I know we're trying to justify it the morning after, and like again, if he works out, it's not going to matter.
Speaking of the morning after, somebody needs to give the Falcons the morning after pill to erase what they did last night.
It was. I just don't. It doesn't. With all the context, it doesn't make sense. Again, if Michael Penix turns into their next franchise quarterback, great. But you just gave a ton of money to who you thought could be like your win now. Let's go get something. Tony Khan, great, amazing.
Hold on, let me bring up something here.
Good thing it doesn't matter. Because we also don't. Because here's where. So Perna, I'm trying not to be a hypocrite here because again, nobody knows, and that's why I'm saying if Penix winds up being the guy, no one's gonna care. I think just in the context of what we have right now, it doesn't make sense. So do you think, because you thought if Michael Penix doesn't get drafted by the Falcons, that was a question. Do you think the Raiders go and get him? Like, do you think that was a concern?
Yeah. I would be going, oh no. Like if the Raiders took Broncos go Nix, then Raiders take Penix, then I'm a little bit scared just for the direct comp, right? Like which guy's going to be better? And then you're like, oh God, we could have had either. Did we make the wrong decision?
On the offseason.
Yeah, it would have been a really nice pick for the Raiders, in my opinion. And they have Gardner Minshew there, so if you don't think Penix was ready right away, you don't have to force the start. And now it's the opposite with the Falcons. It's like, when are you going to start Penix? When he's 27? How old is Jordan Love right now?
Yeah, I don't think so. But I think the thought, if we're reading tea leaves here. I think the assumption is Penix is starting in 2 years.
Yeah. He will be, let's see. Jordan Love's 25 right now.
Yeah. Heard he was
Penix
caught
is
off guard.
24,
That's what I
right?
heard.
And it's like, I don't want to overplay
Really
like the
Brian Thomas
age
Jr.
thing because, okay, so Penix 23. So he could arguably be, he'd be like 25-ish. When's his birthday? May. Okay, so he'll be 24. It's just that he has the experience where he's a guy you want to start right away. That's the other part of it that doesn't, like, if this was JJ McCarthy for the Falcons, it makes more sense because you're like, this is a guy who you actually want to sit. Penix is not a guy you want to sit. He has tons of college reps. He is a guy you've got tons of tape on. You want him on the field if you're going to draft him in the first round.
Again,
if he fell to the back of the first round and that's where Atlanta did it, or second, sure.
like if they pulled a Lamar Jackson and traded back up into the first round. And like,
yeah, exactly. We got him on
Okay.
the 5th year.
Yeah. It just,
Well,
I think
both you and I want the Falcons to succeed. It's not like we're trying to say like this is shitty just to shit on the Falcons. Like when this happened, I was looking for reasons of why I should like this.
Why would they do this?
And
like,
I can't find it.
it's just because with all the context, I can't rationalize it. Again, I'm not a GM too. I'm a dude in a basement. But it seems very odd given all the other talent on the board where they have needs. And I'm trying not, it's tough because like I've been there. I've been in that spot. Not in the top 10 to go get a quarterback, but like, oh, we drafted a quarterback twice when we didn't need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so maybe I could find that here. They mentioned the Packers. Maybe I can find that there. And again, like if this happened in the second round, I'm all for it. If this happened end of first, yeah, you get the 5th year, sure. But just the combination of you just gave him a bunch of money, he's there for at least 2 years. It doesn't express, let me put it this way. The laps that they did about how excited they were that they got Kirk Cousins because their social media team, everyone was doing laps of like victory laps. We got Kirk Cousins. We got our guy. Then the contract came out and they're like, ooh, okay, that's a lot. But if he's their guy, it doesn't matter. And then the first chance you get with a top 10 pick, you go and draft his replacement. It's weird. It seems like the timing is off. It seems like the player is off. Like you said, it just seems that it's not fitting. Because if you said it was JJ needs to sit, okay, we could justify it a little bit more. But it's
it only makes sense if Kirk Cousins gets hurt.
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, this was good. And as somebody who watched Jordan Love thrive last year, who like when I look at what the Packers did, I was like, it was rough when they made that pick, but ultimately, great job by the Green Bay Packers. I believe in that philosophy of, I believe in that approach for getting your quarterback. You don't have to do it that way.
Completely agree.
I believe in that idea. It just doesn't make sense for Atlanta.
But also, look, if we're going the Packers method, same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, he was expected to potentially go number 1, got him late in the draft. Jordan Love
fell very
late
far
in the draft.
Yeah.
At least in the first round.
We'll see.
So, Cowboys, Guyton, I think it's a very solid pick for the Cowboys. Because the Guyton was a guy who was mocked to the Packers a bunch too. And yeah, I think they needed offensive line. So I think it's like, again, not sexy, but I think it's a smart pick. And it's one that was needed too. So I don't hate it.
Feels like the Cowboys have been, smart. Haven't done anything where they overspent.
They tried to go defensive tackle last year, you know what I mean? Or in the first round too. So
if Jerry Jones never said the all-in thing, I think people would be like, the Cowboys are actually playing this offseason intelligently. But he said all in. So everybody's like, what the fuck does all in mean? You're doing nothing, Jerry.
This is not, we're not all or in.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Joel could be a wide receiver. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I imagine the Chargers could be targeting a wide receiver today.
Yeah.
I imagine.
That's the thing with the Chargers, with the
but
Chargers and Bills. Same thing. If you believe I know Josh Allen's great. If you believe Justin Herbert's great, right? They're going to elevate receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think second round, there's always value at the receiver position. A lot of great
1,000,000%.
receivers are drafted
Especially
in
in
the
this
second
draft.
round. So Chargers fans, maybe you get a guy here. Bills fans, maybe you get your guy here. I think second round receivers to those teams could be very they could pay dividends long term. Now, if Neighbors, O'Dunes turn out to be Hall of Famers in LA, I don't know. We do have I am a Bronco. The Broncos do have a lot of round picks. We've got 76 in the third, but then we got 3 fifth rounders, a 6th, a 7th. So they could package 5th rounders to get up in the second. We'll see. I hope they do, because that means they're getting a guy they really like. How many picks does Green Bay have?
We got 4.
Who do you want the Packers to take next?
I mean, if DeJean, so they go offensive line, so I don't think that they're going to go O-line at least in round 2, most likely, because they have
you guys got 2 seconds. Nice.
Yeah, because we have the Jets from Rodgers.
Yeah.
So
right.
I imagine this is where they're going to go get a defensive back, whether it's a safety, whether it's a corner. I think today is going to be probably second round. It's going to be probably one of their first picks. They also need a linebacker too. They could go like a Peyton Wilson. They could go an Edgerrin Cooper. They could do a bunch of things.
Yeah. Only 3 corners off the board.
Maybe.
There was the run on receivers late, but
the Packers could wheel and deal. Like they could trade up. I mean, they did it for Christian Watson too. So, Bo. I'm trying to also get through supers. I'm trying.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all crazy this morning. You crazy. Dude, NFC North is going to be nuts. It's going to be really fun. You have young QBs, right? I mean, and then there's Jared Goff. Like, Jared Goff is like, what is he? He's the oldest QB in the division, and he's not that old. So, it's going to be wild.
No, he's just good. Dude, the start of the draft with all the Lions out there and how excited they were, I was like, man, it is so cool to be, like, optimistic about the Detroit Lions. Ooh. And they've got a bunch of really good players.
Ayuk to the Patriots would be fun.
Now, I am praying the Patriots trade for Ayuk, Tom, because I did a video about players who could be traded during the draft. Mm-hmm. And last minute, I was like, I threw in the Patriots trading for Ayuk. And I need to be right about something one time.
Context important here.
Somebody make me right about something. New England, go get Ayuk so I can post the video about how right I was, like Tom does to me every freaking week of the year. Nostradamus said it. He predicted it again. Let me be the Nostra guy once.
But you're Copernicus.
I sailed the ocean blue in 1492 and discovered everything. Copernicus.
That's not...
Was he a sailor or was he a meteorologist? Did he tell the weather of the stars, Tom? What did he do again?
Did he tell the weather?
Was he emperor of the stars? Was he an astrologist? Did he tell you your signs?
Yeah. Buffalo is split. I would imagine Buffalo is pretty split.
Yeah. That's the thing about GMs, right? Their GM's reign of being really good is short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
People are they're high on GMs. Then they do 1 or 2 things. You're like, this guy sucks again.
I don't know. Bro,
whoa.
I think I have stopped paying attention to what Florida has done for a bit. I'm just like,
yeah,
Florida's doing things.
You can legally make love to alligators there, so I wouldn't trust it.
I appreciate it.
I wouldn't recommend it either, but you can legally do that in Florida.
Historical sites, I don't think this is going to be the trip for historical sites, unfortunately. This is going to be, I'm in the country for 2 days. Let's get as much footage as we can and have an amazing time and show off how awesome the country / fan bases are. That is going to be.
When Tom and I are able to move on to like another project, then we'll have Tom take me on a world historical tour. Like Conan's able to do now in his second career.
Sure.
That'll be the show.
I'll teach you all about Copernicus.
History. Yeah.
And you'll be like, Oh, he made the microwave.
Exactly.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
No, I don't think he's Zach Wilson 2.0. I think, let's compare him to Paxton Lynch because the Broncos drafted Paxton Lynch. Bo Nix and Paxton Lynch are nothing alike. Nothing. There's not a single thing where you go, yeah, I see the comps there. Zach Wilson, they're both blonde. Zach Wilson had one nice season in a weird year. Bo Nix, you got a lot of information about him. That's why I trust it.
I love the hope. I love the hope that's restored in you.
My hope is just like he is a decent quarterback.
That's fair. Like, with a top 12 pick, you're like, please.
Just be decent, man. Be decent. If he's good by year 2, I'll be like, all right, cool.
Mims, you worry about injury a little bit, but I mean, the guy is enormous. Yeah. Like he 6'8". So yeah, if he winds up being all right,
Nix's Cousins, I'll take it, man. I'll fucking take it. I would have been happy if the Broncos had Kirk Cousins right now.
Listen, I invested all back into the podcast, baby. That's why.
Nobody knows if Bo Nix will be good or bad in the NFL.
Nobody knows.
People saying he sucks. It's the dumbest thing you can say. Based on what? Based on the fact that he was really good the last 2 years in college? Yeah, he sucks. Shut the fuck up. Give him a little bit of credit. You can say, I don't think he's going to work out. That's fair. But to be like, he sucks.
Nobody
Shut up.
Nobody knows. It's what I do draft grades, and I literally start every time. I'm like, draft grades don't mean anything. It means nothing. No. And that's when I do them 3 years later, and I go, now we grade the draft. We don't know.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Steven. Appreciate you.
Hey, Bo Nix sucks. I'm a fucking moron. That's what you're saying.
Maybe they'll get a holding call now. I mean, Caleb Williams sold a lot of jerseys, so
I'm bringing back the jerk off thing too. We've been without this for too long.
I do every now and then.
That's when I actually started to like Travis Kelce. He did that to the official in a game,
true.
And I was like, "This is when the Broncos were good still," and so the whole thing was just like really hate the other team. And I did not like Travis Kelce. And then an official made a bad call, and he did that to the official. I was like, okay, this guy's kind of funny.
You're like, all right, I get it.
Okay, I'll take the 12-year-old humor any day.
Listen, Perna wants to come to Munich. That's fine. If Perna wants to tag along, that's fine. That's fine. We're going to do crazy things. I am so excited to go to Germany too. I've never been to like any of these places. I've been to Mexico like once, so I'm super excited. Being a serial killer, that's true. That's true. It could be. Yeah, maybe that's it. Kirk Cousins about to get arrested, and that's why the Falcons are like, oh, we gotta do this.
It would be for cat fighting.
Let's go, baby.
Kirk Cousins under investigation for illegal cat fighting.
Oh, Seahawks, Saints, and Raiders try to trade up for Penix too. I still don't think that. Then if you're the Falcons, you trade with one of those teams and you get even more value.
All those teams made sense too.
Yes. Seahawks make sense. Saints make sense. Raiders make sense.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, I would have loved to see him go to New Orleans.
Collusion.
You've got a plan to replace Carr. You've already paid Carr for a year. You haven't even paid Cousins for a year yet, Atlanta.
Am I going to ruin the trip? No. I think it's going to be made better because it's in 10 days. 30 and 30, I was in some cities for 12 hours. Now I'm at least in there for like a day and a half, 2 days in each country. So it's going to be fun.
Cousins
we'll raise
arrested for illegal caterpillar fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gives them flexibility. You know, could be a left tackle, but also could be moved inside. That's it.
Actually, when they bring down Kirk Cousins, the law, and we find out what I said was right the whole time, that he's a serial killer. That'll be a terrible day for humanity, but for GPS, it'll be a very big day.
Be a big day. Ricky, I mean, I think that this could mean that Debo or Ayuk are gone. Like one of them is likely going to get traded, in my opinion.
It gives the Niners a lot of flexibility.
It does. It does. I did not anticipate wide receiver being their first choice, though. Hey, Saints did smart. They drafted O-line. That's what they needed to do. Yeah. That's what they needed. Ooh.
Ayuk to the Patriots. Make it happen.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Bowers is exciting. But again, if you don't have your QB on the roster, you're the Raiders, you try next year, right? but you build around, and then whoever you can just plug and play.
Yeah. Is it like how much is Minshew or O'Connell going to be able to capitalize on that? That's like the question for the Raiders.
That's fair. Dude, yeah, them going and get Dallas Turner. The Vikings had a good draft. JJ McCarthy needs to work out, obviously, because he's likely going to be. So that's interesting, too. McCarthy's going to a place where there's a bunch of weapons, right? You do have Aaron Jones you can hand the ball off to. You just got to stay healthy. But we talked about JJ needing to sit. I don't think he's really going to have that opportunity because you have Sam Darnold. So unless you're going to throw Sam Darnold out there and go, listen, we're just going to be patient, which is possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And I think Kevin O'Connell, he's going to a good coach. And that's also very important. But yeah, if you're a rookie and you got Justin Jefferson to throw to,
I appreciate
I'll take it. I'll take it. TJ Hawkinson.
Oh, yeah.
Addison.
Yep.
It's nice. Good sitch. And if the Vikings kind of, if you flip flop them, right? If they took an edge rusher where they were drafting and then got JJ McCarthy at 17 or whatever it is, we'd be like, they got the best value on earth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I agree with that. I'm still going. Y'all are crazy this morning. Y'all crazy
Super
last
Chats
night.
are a little crazy.
Yeah, you all crazy. You crazy. Oh yeah, Lions got no stress. Lions no stress, and they traded up and got a great player.
Yeah,
Lions are happy. Oh, and
how many more picks do the Lions have?
Would you say your audio blapped out for a minute?
I said, how many more picks do the Lions have?
I don't know. I mean, the Bears.
They got
only
61,
have 2 more,
7. Or they traded. Is this accurate?
Bills. I mean, they're going to be able to get whoever they wanted on the board. Just wasn't there in the first round, so they got additional value. It just depends on how they capitalize on that now. That's what's important. Appreciate you, Teddy. I appreciate you. Slightly more inconsistent Drew Lock 2.0. I mean, we don't know. I think the concern for Bo Nix is that. Because I was looking also at the you tweeted that out about like tell me why, and the constant thing I've seen is just that he's a good player, like he's not a great player, and I think Perna just said I just want a good player right now.
Yeah,
I just want someone who's gonna play well.
Like excitement doesn't mean I expect him to come win a Super Bowl for the Broncos next year. So it means let's see something from the guy. Let's see Sean Payton with the quarterback he was high on. Drew Lock, he played well when he came in. And then the Broncos got rid of their offensive coordinator because Vic Fangio was dense. He wanted a more experienced offensive coordinator, even though the coordinator they had, Rick Scangarello and Drew Lock, seemed to have something going. So Drew Lock got an unfair shake as well. Doesn't mean he would have been good, but I think if they brought back his OC, he would have been better that next year. It's mostly too about the fit. It means a lot for rookie quarterbacks, and it feels right. Maybe it's not, but there's not a reason to say like this is terrible. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be reasonable. Damn it.
I think to answer this, the Bears are going to be competitive this year. I don't know about really good, but the pieces that they got, I think, are really good.
Yeah, give Caleb some time too. That's the other thing. He was picked number 1 overall, but give him some time. Give him a couple of years.
That's what I'm thinking, Game. That's what I'm thinking. Bowers, I mean, listen, we didn't think some tight ends were developed last year and come out. Look at Laporta and Kincaid. You never know. I'm curious how the Raiders are going to utilize. I think I agree with Pern. I think they're going to primarily just use him, go run out, be a receiver, basically.
Yeah,
that's what he's best at. Only $2. Not good value.
That's not good value at all. You got fleeced. I'm a $10 soul kind of guy.
That's it. And the commies. You got your Jaden Daniels. Let's see.
Daniels and Drake May. We didn't even mention their names this whole time.
No, we didn't. Because it just made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense. So rounds 2 and 3 happening tonight. A little bit early of a start time. Purdy, you're not streaming, correct? Unless the Broncos
trade up, I'll go live for a little bit, but I'm just gonna work on my video now.
Yes. I will be streaming tonight for rounds 2 and 3. Be live at the channel. Appreciate you all tuning in last night. It was crazy. Yeah, they might. That's what it seems. The smoke seems that it's gonna be Debo more than Ayuk right now, but we'll see. But folks, we appreciate the hell out of you. Perna's got winners and losers of night one coming out. I'll have every NFL fan's reaction to round one coming out. And we appreciate the ever-living heck out of you. Today is going to be fun. Today's like the really fun day, too. Round one has like a lot of like, this is where you get like some like really good players. The value's there. Some crazy trades happen.
When you get thoroughly excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But folks, thank you so much for watching. We had over 8,000 people in here. We'll see you again on Monday together. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
When you've reached your destination.
But about Bo Nix,